I recently received a message asking me why black people are harder to understand. So I have to ask a question. Do you find this
Why you putting all my business in the street? Why you putting all him? I just got out of jail and I ain't going back.
harder to understand than this?
I've been sitting out there for the last half hour trying to come up with a story that would explain my being here dressed like this.
Obviously, this isn't one of my normal videos. Normally we're focusing on pronunciation and sound for like individual phonemes, but this is such an important concept, especially when it pertains to English and language learning, is so many people have biases against black teachers in the industry. Being black in the English as a second language field can be challenging. Now, this is obviously not going to be universal. There's plenty of black teachers out there who have had great experiences, positive experiences, haven't faced things like discrimination with regards to finding work or developing great relationships with their students. But at times it can also be a barrier, especially in certain parts of the world. One thing I really can't stress enough is that there is no like monolith black. There are individuals. Some people speak a certain way, some people speak a different way. A lot comes down to parts of the country where they're from. I think when a lot of people are thinking of black dialogue, they're thinking of things like this.
What's wrong with you? You acting all scared. You ain't never seen a gun before?
But there's plenty of black people in the US that don't talk like that at all. So I think that's really something to keep in mind. Really, what I think when students are asking me these types of questions, it's more just saying that they expect black people to talk a certain way and aren't sometimes even aware of the alternatives. And obviously that could be pretty damaging. And in fact, even for a lot of black people in the US, finding jobs and doing interviews and things like that can be difficult because these types of assumptions are even held by some people in the United States as well. Oftentimes black people feel like need to engage in like code switching. So for instance, at work, feeling the need to speak a certain way versus when they're at home feeling more comfortable or feeling more relaxed. And in fact, if you listen to people like teachers, but also just black people who are living in other countries, lots of people have encountered some difficult situations.
When I was in South Korea, there was just like zero understanding of natural hair.
And I'm like, who is this? Oh, it's Obama. And he looks like, and one of my students, he's actually pretty good at English, and he looks like a monkey.
Now they're associating poor people to only be Africans.
That I wasn't allowed into a place just because of my skin color. Yeah, it was a bit hard.
They're looking for a white man or a white woman for this teaching position.
This is, again, not to say that everyone's experience abroad is negative. There's plenty of black teachers out there, again, that have great experiences or feel like they haven't faced discrimination directly or things that they can point to. But that doesn't take away that there are plenty of other people who have had some more negative experiences. It's unfortunate. I think especially abroad, when people think of black, they're associating black with images that are seen in the media. What's seen in the media? Things like gangs and drugs and violence, and it's what the media likes to portray. So just kind of something that you want to keep in mind when you're interacting with black people, if you're not used to having black people around you or in environments with black people, is that don't let your own biases come into the discussion. Don't let that affect how you're seeing people. So to kind of just go back really quick to the question from the beginning, why can't I understand black people? The question that I received. My response was, maybe we need to find some other examples of how black people talk, or maybe we need to try to interact with them. How actively are you trying to break out of your own stereotypes? We can't control the media. We can't control the images that the media portrays, but we can control how actively we try to break down these stereotypes. The media may do these things, but that doesn't take away from our own responsibility, not as language students, but as people, to try to see each other as individuals and see our personal experiences.